All right, final matchup here to preview, Shane. Number 21 Arkansas at number 2 Alabama. The Crimson Tide favored by 20 points at home. The over-under is 59 points. And the game is the SEC CBS Game of the Week, 3:30 Eastern. Who you got in the matchup?
Oh, man. Could you imagine how many notes Gary Danielson is going to have ready for this game? I mean, the love stories coming out of Tuscaloosa. I just can't wait. No, I'm looking forward to this, Mike, because I think a lot of people are overlooking Arkansas Razorbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Even my buddy, even my cousin Mike, when he did his power rankings, he didn't give a shit about them. He just drifted them on down there. Everybody's counting out them Razorbacks. They don't have a shot against Alabama. But, it's hard for me to say that this is not going to be a ball game. And the reason that is because the way Arkansas is playing here lately, that LSU game was awesome, man. It was so damn ugly. It was awesome. When it came down to it, that's what you want to see. That's a program coming together, doing everything they can, scratching, clawing, getting a victory. Every game is important. Every game means something. You look at Alabama, and they've had moments. They showed they're human. This is not the Alabama teams that we've seen in years past. This is a vulnerable team at times. This is a team that easily has overlooked some opponents. I mean, you look at some of the games, Texas A&M, the game they lost. You look at the games that they had to get stoked for, the game, they've came in, scripted, game planned, and they've executed. But they've had a tendency this year to overlook opponents they thought were less than. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, you talk to an Alabama fan. I've talked to many of them. None of them have talked about Arkansas. They have all talked about the SEC championship, and they all talked about the Georgia Bulldogs and how great that game's going to be. And I think that bodes well for them Arkansas Razorbacks because they got one team on their mind, and that is Alabama Crimson Tide. It's going to take a miracle, Mike. It's going to take a flawless game. It's going to take Burks stepping up. It's going to take it's got to be a perfect game, both sides of the ball. They cannot afford to make any mistakes because if they do, let's face it, Alabama is talented. Top to bottom, they're deep as hell, and if you let them get away, man, they will make this a no game at all. They'll run away with the score. So I tossed this around, Mike, and I went back and forth, and I tried to find ways to get Arkansas some points, to make this a ball game late in the fourth quarter, when the fact of the matter is you've got the greatest college football coach to ever coach. And I don't know if this is his last year, Mike. I don't know if this is his last run, but I'm going to tell you, I've watched this guy for many years on the sideline, and there's not one that's ever done it better. I love Sam and all the boys, but Alabama is just too much, and I think it's too late in the year. I think they're not overlooking Arkansas as much as we think. This is a big game at home, so I've got Alabama winning it. I don't got them covering the spread, but the final score, 38, Arkansas 21, so 17 game. Ooh. I'm sorry, Arkansas. I tried, man. I tried to fabricate some points, but I don't see enough offense, man. That's my concern. I was a little worried last week. LSU has found defense, but they're not that good. But what they did is they exposed how vulnerable they are under a pass rush. And you think Nick Saban ain't going to bring some heat this week, buddy? You got another thing coming.
I love the fact, Shane, that you talked for damn near 10 minutes about how everybody hates Razorbacks, including me, and then you said, but they're going to lose by 17 points to the worst Alabama team we've seen in years. So, hey, I don't know about that.
I think it's at the end, Mike. I think they pull away at the end.
Okay. I got you. But, this has been the year of snapping streaks, man, for Arkansas. They beat Texas. Yeah. They beat Texas A&M. They beat LSU. Left and right. They are proven that this is a new era on the hill there under Sam Pittman. They've got KJ Jefferson. I know there's so much hype under Bryce Young. I think it's basically a wash at the quarterback position. Now they have their unique skill sets. I'm not saying that KJ's as good of a passer as Bryce Young or Bryce Young's as good as a rusher as as KJ. I mean, they do different things. Alabama, that may be the biggest concern I have in this one. How does Arkansas secondary, without Jalen Catalon, how do they match up against these receivers? Jamison Williams, the only SEC receiver that has hit the 1,000-yard mark. And, coming into the year, it was all John Mechie. I mean, and he's outstanding too. So It's not like there's just one guy you got to worry about. How does that happen? But I think this is the year, Shane, where Arkansas can kind of match Alabama on the offensive and defensive lines. This has not been the case for damn near 10 years, where they can physically match up with Alabama on the line of scrimmage. But Alabama is they've lost that battle, Shane, against Florida, against A&M. I would say even against LSU. So this is not the Alabama of old. They're still in an elite program. They're still in the hunt for the national championship, but they are beatable, Shane. Now, here's a couple key matchups I looked up prior to the pod. Alabama, number one in the SEC of 20 or more yard passing plays. Arkansas, number two in the SEC in fewest allowed 20-yard passing plays. So that'll be key. Strength on strength in the passing game there. Alabama, the number one third down offense in the SEC. Arkansas, the number one third down defense in the SEC. Again, strength on strength. Alabama, number one scoring off in the red zone in the SEC. Arkansas, number two scoring in the red zone. So a lot of matching or head-to-head strengths in this matchup. I think we got us one hell of a ball game, Shane. And I come close to, after all the hate that I received all week from them Arkansas faithful, I came so close to pulling the trigger on the upset. But at the end of the day, Shane, like you said, this is Nick Saban's dynasty here. And I mean, every time I pick against Alabama, it seems like they win by about 40 points. So I ain't doing it. I think it will be a ball game. I think it's going to be, one at maybe in the last moments here, because I got Alabama 28, Arkansas 24. 4-point ball game here. I think this one goes down to the wire.
Golly. Why do you hate Arkansas so much, man? I have a 17 loss just because the referees are going to screw them. I'm just throwing it out there, Mike. I can already feel it. There's going to be some interceptions. There's going to be a fumble we don't catch. There's going to be something, and Gary's going to remind us how great Alabama is for about 60 minutes, and we're going to come down to the end of it. But you absolutely hate Arkansas. That blows my mind. But anyway, no, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a hell of a ball game here, man. It's been a while since and that's that's the thing. Alabama doesn't lose a lot of games, and when they do, it's because of big thing. I mean, we're still talking about Texas A&M,
right?
But I mean, if who knows? Maybe this is a game we're talking about 3, 4, 5 years from now. Like, this is the time that you remember that time Arkansas went in there and beat Nick Saban? I mean, if not now, then when, Mike? I think that's the beautiful thing about this game is if Arkansas were to pull off the upset, there is not a better time to do it than 3:30 on Saturday, baby.
Right, and all week I've had to hear how this is not a great lineup of SEC games, and every time I've heard that this season, we've had outstanding football upsets left and right, so that's probably how it's going to go this weekend. Shane, cannot wait for it. And, hey, buddy, that's all I got. We went a little bit long on this one. You got anything before we hop off the line?
No, Mike, you're going to be up to midnight cleaning me up here with the edit, so we should probably end it. But I'm looking forward to this weekend, man. Like you said, it just got – I don't know, it just feels like we may get some really good games here. We may have some upsets. We predicted a few. I'm just ready, man. Like you said, embracing it. We only got a couple weeks left. Love it, man. Love every second of it because we're going to be looking back. We're going to be watching ESPN Classics before you know it.
Absolutely, Shane. Well, I appreciate you joining me. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right. See you guys. Go Vols. Cut out. I'm assuming that you sent it over my way, right?